MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell is already just 24 hours roughly after making his August 13th pronouncement, he's already hit a major snag. And that is that, again, about 24 hours after he said by August 13th Trump would be back in the White House, the courts in Minnesota, where he's filed his major lawsuit that's going to overturn the election, the courts have already granted a stay. Basically, they've delayed his lawsuit against Dominion Voting Systems because Dominion filed a request for a stay, which is a temporary or basically an indefinite postponement of the lawsuit, and the court was more than happy to grant it. So August 13th now starting to look a little too far-fetched for Mike Lindell because his lawsuit against Dominion likely isn't going to come back. Now, Dominion, as we know, is also suing Mike Lindell. So that's going to be fun to watch that play out because Lindell has continuously doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on his statements about Dominion somehow, being responsible for whatever kind of fraud it is Lindell says they've done. But I think the reason Dominion was able to come in and quickly get a stay on this lawsuit that he's filed is so that they can properly draft a request for a summary dismissal of this case. That's probably what is going to happen. This case that Lindell has filed is not going to go to discovery. It's not going to go to trial. And it sure as hell isn't going to go to the United States Supreme Court. So Dominion is probably saying, all right, hold up, let us, figure out how to word this thing so we can write it up and we'll file. And again, I'm sure the courts are going to grant this for them. But Lindell, again, just the day before had been like, nope, August 13th is the day. This is when everything is going to happen. Trump's going to be back. The Supreme Court is going to rule 9-0, because you're even going to get the liberals on the court to go in favor of this and reinstate Donald Trump, even though legally that's not a thing that can even happen in the United States. There is no remedy for this if Lindell was even, telling the truth, which we're pretty certain he's not. But even if he were telling the truth, there still would be no remedy to put Trump back in office. That's not how it works. So, the whole thing is doomed to fail. And I honestly don't know if Lindell knows that at this point. I think he has been sucked too far into his delusion. And the only thing that's going to, wake him up, or more importantly, shut him up, is possibly throwing him in jail or putting him in a psych ward if we have to. I mean, in my personal opinion, again, I'm not a medical professional, just a couple of college psychology courses here. But, I personally tend to think that there is something clinically wrong with him and that he does need mental help. That's just my opinion here, but based on his words, his statements, his actions, his behavior, I think a lot of people agree with me on that. But nevertheless, this man is on a quest that is destined for failure. Everything he has tried to do, every opportunity he has been given to show fraud, he has failed to do so. He's failed to do it in lawsuits. He's failed to do it in the media. He's failed to do it with his friends. He doesn't have the evidence, but somehow he thinks he does. This is going to fail. The only question is, what crazy conspiracy does he move on to next once this one goes down in flames? Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.